Okay. It's another Wednesday, which means it's the cafe ride. Hopefully, Lindsey Richter will be joining us from Ladies All Ride today. But she's in Silverton, Colorado. Apparently, it's freezing cold there. Here we are. It's freezing cold and the jacket outside. So, uh, Ladies All Ride declined. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get her. Ladies All Ride. Okay. Hopefully she can join. Hey,
Hey,
are you inside or are you freezing somewhere?
I'm inside. I'm inside.
My God. I was just in Lake City and it's just it's so funny how cold it is just up higher. I mean, Lake City we were camping, it was like 9,000 feet. But the
Yeah,
mornings are brisk.
I love it. I mean, Silverton's at 9,300 feet, and my hometown is Bend, Oregon, and it's smoky, and all the West Coast seems to be on fire. It's so sad, but it was really nice to get out of there and come to Silverton and be in the mountains.
Yeah, well, thanks for chatting today. I'm super excited. It's been a while since we've actually met in person. We went on a ride in Fort Collins,
Yep.
um, and it was impressive because like you had just traveled, I think like nonstop, been driving, and you're like, yeah, let's go do this ride. I'm like, shit, I would be really tired.
I was dead, remember? I was like,
Um,
time.
yeah, but I would love, let's get started because I love your story. Um, it's super exciting that how you've spread knowledge into the mountain biking world, especially for women, and confidence, and you're building this great community. So I would love it if you could just take over and tell us, kind of walk us through where your story started and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, it's it's quite the story. I guess it started out when I lost my fitness after going to college. Really, I was an athlete in high school and didn't do sports in college and really lost myself, but I didn't really realize why. That camaraderie and closeness you get from your team sports in high school just sort of fizzled out of my life for a long time. And into my 20s, I went right into the working world. I was in advertising and PR. I thought I had my dream job at 25 years old, but something was missing. I really couldn't figure out how to get my fitness back. I was going to the gym and doing step aerobics because this was in the
Oh
90s.
my God, step or my mom. I remember my mom doing and like Thai bow and like
Yeah, oh, totally.
the Reebok step. Oh God, what a different time.
And I'm super uncoordinated, so it wasn't the best. And I just didn't find the gym super inspiring, and I just didn't feel good about myself. And I just decided to start racing mountain bikes. I lived in Portland, Oregon, where I grew up. I was working in downtown. There were no mountain bike trails around. So I went and bought a hardtail mountain bike, and I would go ride up this one fire road for my training. But it was my way of forcing me into doing something after work every day with the goal of being fit for racing. And that just sort of propelled me into where I am now, to be honest. But I lost my job in advertising because it was during the dot-com boom in the early 2000s, and all of our clients went away literally overnight. So we all got laid off. And my next door neighbor in my office next door to me handed me this application for a reality TV show called Survivor.
Oh my God, I remember I was so obsessed, and I feel like everyone at home always sat there and they'd be like, I could do that. I could do this.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't watched it and I was just ready for something new. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was in the middle of racing mountain bikes. So I used my mountain bike racing to make an audition tape. And 6 weeks later, I was on my way to Africa and I did Survivor. And the aftermath of Survivor was kind of traumatizing. I've already
Really?
dealt with depression my whole life. I've dealt with mental health. I've been in and out of therapy and on and off of medication since I was in high school. So going on reality TV and putting yourself out there to be vulnerable was really challenging. It definitely exacerbated all my mental health issues, made me feel horrible about myself. I was publicly humiliated and ridiculed. And, I moved to LA after that to go to auditions, and that's really where my soul got sucked out of me. I just didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't have any direction in life. I was, late 20s, like who knows really what they want to do in their late 20s.
No one.
Right. But that was just a whirlwind of an experience. And the one thing that kept me feeling good about myself was riding my mountain bike. And I would go find these races in Southern California to go race and just be around like-minded people. And from there, I ended up traveling the country for 10 years. I met and married a pro downhill racer, and he really introduced me to the industry on the other side, on the professional side. But also suddenly I was now riding with all these pros who were just amazing mountain bikers. And I started to feel intimidated by the sport. I started feeling like I can't keep up with these people. I'm never going to be as good as them. And through my decade of traveling, I noticed that mountain biking was being promoted as this gnarly extreme sport. And this was in, the early 2000s, where it was most of the advertising was dudes jumping over cliffs, and the free ride scene was just
not super attainable for like 99% of us.
And I just kind of saw that unfolding, and having an advertising background, I kept thinking, why is nobody marketing directly to women? This is not a very welcoming sport when you're seeing like Red Bull Rampage get on TV and you're watching these like crazy stunts and amazingly skilled riders, but it just didn't feel attainable. I also felt like there was nothing marketing mountain biking that talked about the emotional component of it. It is a challenging sport. It can be intimidating. And so from there is where Ladies All Ride came up. Really, my ex-husband and I had a tour called the All Ride Tour, and we sponsored a kids team. We promoted mountain biking, and really what the word means is we should all ride bike if we can, and the world would be a better place. And Ladies All Ride really came from my desire to get more women to ride with personally. I just wanted to find more friends to ride with. And I started thinking of the word, and I thought, ladies should all ride together.
Yeah.
I knew that women were getting into this sport primarily through men, which is great and all. But I found that in order to make the sport more welcoming and attainable, that women might be more interested in it if they're hearing about it from other women.
Yeah.
So anyway, kind of how Ladies All Right got started. I wanted to just create a movement. So in 2010, I started thinking about what can I do to just market this sport to women and invite them really to just come ride with me so I can have some friends to
totally
ride.
It's like it's almost just like I feel like I'm the same way, where like if I need a community, like I always need it wherever I go, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna build it. I just want people to come ride with me. Like, let's just go have a good time together. Like, that's why we're here. We're human. Like, we're social creatures. I don't want to be in a gorgeous place alone, or even like suffering alone for the most part. I need a friend.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the mountain bike skills camps came from. Was, for about 2 or 3 years, I was coaching as much as I could. I got certified to coach, and my mind was blown at how much there is to learn about mountain biking that I wasn't hearing from these world-class professional athletes I was surrounded by. I just think they had been doing it for so long that they couldn't really articulate in a way that I could understand how to even start mountain biking. And so once I got certified to coach, my whole world opened up, and I just started coaching as much as I could, learning from as many people as I could, and developing a program that not only teaches mountain bike skills, but also helps women see the benefits of mountain biking for their lives. The way mountain biking, it really helps us learn how to face fears. It helps, especially people like me who deal with mental health. You feel like your brain is out of whack sometimes.
Oh yeah, this is me.
Right? I think a lot of people can identify with depression or anxiety, especially right now. And a sport like mountain biking, you have to be fully focused on what needs to happen to keep those wheels rolling forward. If your mind starts to drift, or starts to create negative thoughts that are fear-based or emotional thoughts, you could fuck yourself up.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know, so learning to change those thoughts from negative fear-based thoughts to positive thoughts that keep you moving forward, that blew my mind, because you have to change your thoughts in mountain biking. And over time, I started seeing the effect it had on women. I started meeting so many women that I felt like I connected with, and just coming together with a bunch of women mountain biking with other women. And
Yeah.
I want to keep the momentum going. I feel so proud of what we get to do, and sharing this sport with other women, making friends all over this country. Now I could call someone in probably any state in this country
Yeah.
and take me on a ride, or I could connect other people who've been to our camps with women all over this country for them to learn new trails and ride with new women. And that alone means the world to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's someone like you're like the person that is awesome for just like doing the hard work, doing what needs to be done, because there is like, I think it's almost like a trust, a confidence thing, and you just need someone to show you the way forward. Because I like to think about my own awful stutter starts of mountain biking, and it really is like it's like a mind warp, right? Like if you don't think you're able to do something, like you won't. I went out to Fruta and rode with Tina Uli, who I just saw, she's on here.
Yeah.
And Tina's awesome, and she was on the Café ride as well, our first guest. But like we would stop, so like there would be like a really steep ride, like something that I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
Hell
I'm gonna die.
no.
I'm gonna die. And like even before I even tried it, I had already determined I wasn't gonna do it. I was going to die on it somehow, even though it's like a rock. Like I'm probably not gonna die on like this small obstacle. But it was really interesting, like having a coach or a person to like stop and walk you through your process. Because I'm sure you do this, and I would love to hear about it. But Tina was like, "Okay, so what are you thinking right now? Like, what's stopping you from doing this? Like, walk me through your thought process." And it was all just fear based. I'm like, "No, I'm going to stop. I'm going to break my ankle. I'm going to do this." And she was like, "Give it a try." Like, I will
Right?
spot you to do this, but there's such a foundation that you need to have just in like confidence alone. And so like I'm curious, you know, when you have these camps, like how do you structure them? Who shows up? Because I'm sure you have like a wide breadth of abilities that show up, and I think even if you're a pro or expert, it's probably really good to still learn like the basics. So I would love it. Like what do your camps look like?
Well, I mean, that's so true what you just said. The foundation is everything, you know, and I had been riding a decade by the time I learned to coach, and learned that I had a lot of bad habits and that I was doing a lot of things wrong and a little bit dangerously. It's not the kind of sport that you want to throw yourself into through trial and error. It really can, you really can get injured in mountain biking. And that's just,
Yeah.
we can get injured doing a lot of things. But what I love about our camps is we do attract all levels of riders, which is awesome. Women who've been riding 20 years and realize, you know, they hear one finger breaking. Wait, what? You know, like those little tweaks can change their whole ride. And then we get a lot of newbies and everything in between. And so what our camps look like is we have a meet and greet happy hour the night before the camps start, where we offer beer from our local brewery and kombucha and non-alcoholic stuff, and just an environment to help people show up and meet the coaches in a more casual environment, because we know that it can be a little intimidating showing up. We know a lot of women also come alone, and we want to make sure that each person who comes to our camp feels super welcome and like they belong there. So the meet and greets really just so everyone can meet everyone and see that we're just a bunch of goofy women who love what we do. We don't have egos. We want to just make sure that we set the stage, that we're all in this together. that everyone is welcome, all women of color, all shapes, all sizes, all fitness levels, all ages. We want that to be front and center at our camp so nobody feels like they don't belong there. I even start the camps out by saying that. We welcome all of you. Don't be sizing each other up and comparing yourselves, because that doesn't exist here. You know, I say that take your egos and leave them at home, because we're going to be falling down in front of you as coaches. We're just as nervous as you. So I really try to set the emotional stage first to make sure everyone just knows that we're all vulnerable. We're all in this together. Like, we're not perfect. I'm still learning constantly. I love learning from other coaches. We all coach each other, you know? So then the first day, both days, it's 2 days. The morning starts out mostly on grass, where we're doing lots of skills and drills and building those foundational skills. And North Carolina, I see you. We used to coach in Brevard till Rebranch went up for sale. Anyway, we do coach in North Carolina. We love it. There's also Shanna. She's there. Anyway, and so we start everyone out in a really safe environment. No matter what level of rider you are, we want to see just how you handle your bike, how you stand on your pedals, how you weight your feet, how you hold on to the bars. Like, those little things all add up to a strong body position on the bike. And then we do lunch and we do raffles. And then in the afternoons at each camp, we go out on the trails. Now, some of our camps, we have chairlifts. So there's no real formula. Coaches, what I think I love most about our camps is our coaches have freedom to coach the way they want to coach. I have coaches who, we were in Bentonville, Arkansas, and her whole group really wanted to dial in drops. So they worked on drops in the safe environment, on the controlled drops that we bring. And then their afternoon was spent just riding all over Bentonville, trying to find every drop they could find on everything.
That's awesome.
You know, so each group of participants, 7 participants to 2 coaches, they get a unique experience with that coach based on what that coach sees that they need. So if you get the more advanced riders, we're going to skip shifting and working on your controls. We're going to assume you know how to work your bike, and we're going to take you right in to more challenging stuff. If you're new to mountain biking, you're going to be placed in a group where you all have a similar mindset. You all have similar experiences and similar goals. So we have this questionnaire that everyone has to fill out before they come to our camp. That's pretty extensive, but we take it very seriously, putting people in the right group so they have the best experience that they can have.
Yeah, I think that's so awesome. And one, I just want to, can I hire you as like my person? Like, you and Tina can meet me in free. I'm riding the Cocapelli. I'm riding Cocapelli in September, and I'm already like having dreams about like something bad happening.
You need to stop that.
I know. I'm my own worst enemy. I mean, we all kind of.
We all are. But you know, that's really a lot of what we coach with Ladies All Right. Yes, we are coaching you skills on your bike, and you are going to walk away with more skills than you ever even imagined were possible. But we're also teaching you the psychology behind it. We're giving women the tools to understand what to think about. It's like you said, what Tina did for you. What exactly are you afraid of happening? You know, in life, I think we get scared of a lot of things, maybe getting out of that relationship. I ended up going through divorce after 15 years. And that was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. It was very confusing. I felt very alone. I felt like a failure. I'm choking up. And
no, I'm going to start choking up. I always cry on
Well, you know, divorce is really hard and really scary. And I
realized
that it was fear holding me back from what I knew needed to happen for my own health. And so I just want to help be a voice for women, using mountain biking as a tool that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And when you learn what needs to happen to get through that section, and when you identify what scares you, like in divorce, what scared me was being alone, feeling unlovable, feeling like no one's going to love me because I have the big divorce on my forehead. You know, I identified what I was afraid of, and then I really thought through what's the worst that can happen. And it's the same with mountain biking. I don't want to fall on my face either. I don't want to break a bone either. So if we can identify, these are the things I'm scared of. Okay, now here's the section we're looking at. Here's the lines. These are the things that need to happen to get through. only let those thoughts into your head, even if you need to yell them out loud, keep it rolling, you know, whatever you need to do to keep those thoughts positive. That's what's going to get you through those fear-based moments. And so much of what we do on a mountain bike translates into life.
Oh my
And
God, yeah.
if I'm going through all these experiences that I've dealt with depression, I've dealt with friendship issues and love issues, because that's what has forced me into learning and growing and becoming
Yeah.
I can be. And mountain biking has helped me see what I'm capable of, and that I don't need anybody but myself, and that I am in control of the things I can control, like riding my bike and coaching mountain biking. And I want more women to see that that exists for
Yeah.
them.
Oh my, that like resonates with me so much. Cause like, I mean, I'm divorced, and I think the hard part, like it is like, you know what you have to do, but to do it is so scary, but you don't know why it's scary. You're like, it, and like the same is with mountain biking, where like it's just like this one obstacle and you're like, I'm not even trying to get over it. I'm just going to focus on how scary it is and not do anything. But
Totally.
the moment you realize that you're just like, oh no, I can do this, like I'm fine. And half the time in mountain biking, and mostly in life, it's like 5 seconds of like really hard shit, and then you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm over it.
Well, and that feeling when you actually, you know, I think the step one is seeking to understand with anything in life. Before you make a judgment or make an assumption, learning what needs to happen, understanding it, really
Yeah.
take away a lot of that fear.
Yeah.
And that's so important for us as women. I think as women, we're really hard on ourselves. I don't
Yeah.
want to generalize, but a lot of know we seek perfection. And you know, that's one thing I say in my camps: progression, not perfection. Perfection shouldn't even be a word. It doesn't exist. Like the fact that we think we need to be perfect in everything we do is such bullshit. And the mountain bike really humbles you in that way. I am
Oh
never
yeah.
perfect on a mountain bike, or I wouldn't have fresh scars on my arm. You know, like, and I love that about it, because it's
Yeah.
always challenging me, but it's also humbling me in a way that I turned 47 years old in 2 weeks.
Such
I don't,
badass. I
you
love
know,
it.
I don't want to get hurt. So I'm learning how to rein it in and be okay with, hey, I may be your coach and I may be coaching the most advanced group, but I don't want to take that 20-foot drop. It's not something I want to do. You know,
Yeah.
I put myself my way, what feels good for me. And that's what I want to encourage women to do. Mountain biking doesn't have to be gnarly. It can be whatever you make of it. And there's so many trails popping up these days that are suited for all levels of riders, with big huckers to the left and a go around, you know? So I just want to make mountain biking more accessible for
Yeah.
women, and to show women that it can be something that really empowers you, and it doesn't have to be super scary and gnarly.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I was just in Cuyuna, Minnesota, and they're trying to be, you know, like a Fayetteville, and they've built like 50 miles of amazing single track. Like, I had so much fun, and I'm, you know, pretty conservative, but I was with 3 other women who were like such badasses. And it was so fun though, riding with people who are so much better than me, because like, it's cool. Like, okay, cool. I can go fast for a really long time and be endurance, but like, I love seeing people in their element. And those trails, it was so much more inclusive because they were built for mountain biking, and it like progressively you could get harder the more comfortable you got. But then if you were like, nope, there would be like a little go around. And I feel like trails that are like, even in Fort Collins, like they're a little dicey, and like for me they're really intimidating, because either there's like trails I can ride on my gravel bike, or trails that you just need to know what the hell you're doing. And I'm like, how do I get from here to here without the middle? And so it's just so nice to have all of these new trails that are just popping up that are, I think, like, if I had access to trails that were a little more inclusive, I probably would have like mountain biked way earlier in my life, instead of waiting till I'm, you know, 33, 34. So it's so cool. And then also, you know, just like, if more people like you were always around, I would probably also, because I think it is, you're like part therapist, part coach, part motivational speaker.
Cheerleader.
Um, yeah, and I think we all need that in our lives. And it's just like, yeah, it's so, the work you're doing is so impressive, and it's so refreshing to like be a beginner at something, no matter what age you are, and to not feel like totally judged.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to be a beginner. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, Brene Brown, who is a motivational speaker, and she studies shame and vulnerability. She talks about how important it is to be a beginner at things, to keep that growth mindset going. And to be honest with you, the age range of our camps are 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I just had a 62-year-old in Michigan. I swear, those Midwest women, they are tough as shit.
They are. That's what I was just riding with. I'm like, y'all are fucking crazy.
It's just, I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's
They're
the
so great.
old, but they are tough women into their 70s and 80s. And this 61-year-old, all she wanted to do, 62, was jump. She wanted to jump. And it was unbelievable watching her progress from just getting the wheel off the ground to getting her body position and to catching a little bit of air. And so when I get those where people say, well, I'm 45 and I'm a little intimidated, it's a little late for me to start mountain biking. I'm like, it is never too late. And that is what we are trying to get across, that especially for women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, who have pretty much established themselves in life. Maybe they've had kids that have grown up and left the house, and they're looking for something to do for themselves. Mountain biking is a great sport to introduce you to a community of women who you can go ride with and then go have coffee with.
Yeah.
A sport that creates so much camaraderie and joy. And like I said, you can go to any mountain biking town in this country and probably find some eager women to ride with. And that's a pretty special thing. So do not put an age limit on yourself.
Mom, I know you're listening. I was like, my mom is probably watching this. So Mom, get ready. You're going to end up using my mountain bike. We're the same size. You have no excuse. I'm flying you out here.
The 50 and 60-year-olds are the ones who blow my mind the most, because I'm nearing my late 40s now, and I see these 50 and 60-year-old women, and I'm like, oh, I've got nothing to worry about. You all are badasses because you're moving your bodies and you're challenging your minds and your fitness, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's my mom. Like, I freak out. I mean, I'm going to be 34, but I freak out all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. I'm going to lose my fitness. And then I look at my mom, who just like backpacked part of the Pacific Crest Trail. She's always doing something crazy. And I'm like, I think I'm going to be okay. You're like 64.
That's awesome.
Like, okay, life can be good.
Life can be good. Someone just commented, spend the money on the gear. It will take better care of you. Cheers to the 45 plus. Woo!
Nice.
That is a good point. That is something I struggle with a little bit with mountain biking, is I'm promoting a sport that I know is expensive. I know that it has privilege attached to it. So we're really trying to do our part to encourage more women of color to join. We have a program where our sponsors all donated spots. We've been seeing those spots fill up, and it's really awesome to just see the different types of women who are becoming interested in mountain biking. It's really important to us that, like I said before, everyone feels like they belong. If you have a bike, that is the starting point. If you don't have a bike, we do have demo bikes. Live Cycling is our title sponsor, and they provide demo bikes for us. So that's a really great way to just help people get on a nice bike, see that a nice bike really can help you.
Yes.
But it sucks because I don't love promoting something that's expensive, and that's kind of a conundrum for me. So we're trying to continue to develop our program where we can provide bikes for people and help with the barriers of getting into this sport. And we keep talking about Tina. She's doing great things to help.
We love you,
break
Tina.
down the barriers for women to get into this sport. And there's a lot of great programs out there to help break down those barriers. And, I just want to see women get into this regardless of what they can afford. And that can be a hurdle, and that sucks. And we're trying to figure that out so we can continue to grow the sport without people having to spend too much money on it. But like that woman just said, it is important to have the right gear because you want to be protected, and the right gear will last you a long time.
Yeah, totally. Well, God, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I totally enjoyed our conversation, and I really want you to come ride in Fort Collins or come meet Tina and I in Fruta. Tina, I'm just going to rope you into my Cocopelli trip in September.
Yeah.
Please
Well, I
meet me
am
on the
coming.
Cocopelli Trail.
Oh, we'll be cheering you on. I'll be seeing Tina a lot. I'll be going to Rome Fest Fruta. So
Nice.
that's in October. I'm excited for that. And of course, anytime I can go hang out with my buddy Uli, I'm
Yeah.
going to do it.
Well, thank you so much for just like doing all of this hard work for, women cycling and for just cycling in general. I think we need people like you who are kind of like mavericks in that just see a need and are just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it and it's going to happen. So I'm super honored to know you, have ridden with you, and hopefully we can ride again. So thank
Yes.
you so much. I
Thank you
really
for
appreciate it.
having me.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Yeah, we'll keep in
Enjoy
touch.
Silverton. I'm jealous you're up in the high mountains right now.
Come visit me this winter. I'll have a house.
Oh my God, if I can get my car there in the snow. But God, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll just kind of stay up to date on all your fun travels and group rides. Camp.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
See y'all later.